Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay there. Girlfriend had to get me to help her with some stuff. So, yeah, here we are. I'll try to watch it, see if anybody's in here, see what's going on. Girlfriend's banging around upstairs like a crazy woman. See what we got here. If you're in the chat, let me know you're here. And yeah, we're just going to talk about a couple things. There's a painful game behind me on the TV. For sure. That good old Chargers Raiders game, week 17. Almost was good. There we go. Bosa with the knockout. It's so good. But yeah, I said it's just here to talk about a couple things. Gonna enjoy it. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too, mind-blowing here on this episode. Let's see what we got here. So again, sorry for the being late. That will happen. So hey, just gonna talk about a couple things today. Just the hobby. We're talking about different players, different sets, all this stuff that people like, right? And obviously there's volatile in any market, whether you're talking sports cards, whether you're talking stocks, whether you're talking anything, right? It's no matter what you invest in cryptocurrency. I know people are freaking out about Bitcoin being down and all this stuff. It's like, go look at pretty much any stock. They're all pretty much tanking right now. It doesn't matter what you have. But yeah, so it's a long list of things that can go wrong. Long list of things that unfortunately aren't going to go good. So once again, you just kind of take the wins with the losses. You're just kind of preparing yourself one way or another to kind of handle anything that kind of comes at you. So yeah, we're going to just once again talk about a couple things here and see how it goes. So we have once again, we're talking about some stuff. So people say, that person, for the prices to go up, they got to win a Super Bowl, right? Got to win a Super Bowl. You got to win a Stanley Cup. Got to win an NBA title, right? No matter what it is, you got to talk about what is going to propel that person to the next thing. But a lot of times the height of that card is actually going to be opposite. The height of the card is actually going to be when I'm going to do this. Sorry. Sometimes the height of the card is actually going to be before they win, right? That anxiousness, that appeal of, they might actually win a Stanley Cup. They might win a Super Bowl. They might win something. That's when you kind of see the height of the cards, right? Matthew Stafford, his cards went super high. Even Joe Burrow, even if Joe Burrow won that Super Bowl, he's probably not going to get to that same height, right? And I say that because we're talking about guys like Nathan McKinnon, right? So we got Nate here. What else can you want from the guy? Over a point per game in the playoffs. Here's his PSA 10. Good looking card. At the end of the day, though, prices are down. And I understand a lot of things are down, right? But yes, he did win the Conn Smythe. That was reserved for Cale Makar. But, there's no reason why this guy, whose legacy apparently was so, everything about it needed to win a Stanley Cup. Then he wins the Stanley Cup. Once again, he's the third highest point per game in the playoffs history, behind Gretzky and Lemieux, I think, or somebody like that. So to go through all of it and then at the end of the day, still not see the bump, right? You think, oh, well, say this was $1,500-$1,600 before, okay, well, that should jump to $2,000 once he wins it. No, they've dropped, right? And yes, it's the off season, so you kind of got to take that with a grain of salt, but a lot of stuff. And also, you get another thing you got to do with a lot of this is take with a grain of salt all these prices for Canadians, which is a lot of the hockey market, right? A lot of your hockey market is going to go to Canadian buyers or sellers. And now they're charging tax, right? So minimum, I think Alberta tax is 5%. If anybody's in the chat is from Alberta, you guys let me know. But yeah, you have Alberta. tax, which is 5%. Where I live, it's 15%, right? So you're talking a big card. You're talking a $2,000 card. All of a sudden, it's not a $2,000 card. It's a $2,300 card, right? So you're going to see that. And that only just came in the last couple of weeks. So that might affect some of the prices you see. I know the States has been charging tax depending on the state forever. Canada just wasn't one of those places. So, it's kind of one of those different things for sure to kind of take into consideration. But like, I have a lot of McKinnons. I got PSA 8s. I got BGS 9s. That's probably going to end up getting cracked. Front centering is pretty decent. The back centering is a little off. You can see this side here is a little bit heavier than the other side from those little things, but the front's pretty good. So probably could crack that. This one is the famous one I always talk about. Let's get the big thumbprint right under. I don't know if I can get this to focus or not. Right there. You kind of see it right under the McKinnon, maybe. Right under the Mac. So it's a big one there, and then one on the other side of the S and the Y of Young Guns. So lots of different stuff that affects prices, right? And maybe once again, maybe if you won a Stanley Cup, or maybe if you won the Norris, maybe if you won the Conn Smythe, maybe it would have went up, but probably not, right? Cale Makar is going up, but they've also been pumping Cale Makar for the past how long now? So Fred Jones, do you have any Landeskog Young Guns? I do have a Landeskog Young Gun. It's over there. Actually, I got a Future Watch auto. Haven't cleaned up my set, so got a nice Future Watch auto. Oh, my screen went down here. There we go. Nice Future Watch auto of Gabe. So pretty solid. Overall, the auto's nice. It's not a little bit streaky, I guess, maybe on one spot, but overall pretty good. The corners are all pretty good on that. But yeah, I do have a Young Gun. It's over in a box over there. So, but yeah, no. Also, welcome, Fred. Nice to see you in the chat tonight. So, got lots of guys, and like I said, you can kind of prospect people, right? I know I kind of probably sound like a broken record at some points, always talking about, how are some guys going for crazy money, but then you have guys like Drew Doughty and Ryan Getzlaf and Kevin Hayes, and they're going for nothing compared to some of these new guys, right? It's not much of a difference between a Niels Hoglander and a Ryan Getzlaf. Why does that make sense, right? So it's just one of those things. You kind of just accept it after a while. People are always going to prospect. But that's my big thing with a lot of hockey cards, even football cards, right? You talk about something, and everyone knows my PC. I'm a Chargers fan. You can see the Chargers uniform, the Philip Rivers behind me. Excuse me, and maybe it's a good thing. But like Philip Rivers cards aren't the craziest, right? Now, a lot of things people have to take in consideration is, with all of this, is back in the day, they didn't have the parallels that we have now. You go to Philip Rivers Topps rookie, the base Topps, like Topps Chrome. There was the Topps Chrome. There's the Topps Chrome Refractor. So essentially a silver for anybody that's kind of keeping track here. You had the gold and you had the black. So the only two number ones were the gold and the black. And that's it. That's all you had for numbered hits for that set. Now you have, you go through anything optic, prism, anything. You have 249, 225, 199, 175. You keep on going down, 150, 125, 99. I think it goes to like 35, 20. Then you have different, either disco variation from like fast break or no huddle. You have the shimmers from like first off the line. You have all this stuff. So there's all this things, but like you look at something like this, right? Rookie ticket, Phillip Rivers. You can say whatever you want about Phillip Rivers. Think he's good, think he's bad, whatever you may think about Phillip Rivers. We got a Bowman Chrome rookie. Good looking card there. But of his generation, a top 5 to 10 quarterback, right? Yes, you're going to talk Manning, Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, maybe better. And then I think the list gets everyone will debate me on that. Antonio Gates rookie auto. I don't have any Antonio Gates rookie autos. I do have some Antonio Gates autos and stuff, but nothing from his rookies. So I loved Gates. It's one of those things. The Penn State boy, the walk-on. He's kind of one of the most famous stories of, he didn't play, college football, and then he goes on to be one of the greatest 5 tight ends of all time. It's a pretty ridiculous story. And that's why you kind of love Gates. He made his bread and butter from either that 5-yard just hook. He loved that 5-yard hook, that quick little shuffle, get up there, turn, and then be done with it. Or you had the other way of, him going on a little bit of a post, corner routes, all that stuff. So, you have all these guys, but, also picked up this at one point for a pretty decent price. This is a tribute. So this is from 2018 Contenders. Just a rookie ticket auto. This is, people say, well, it's a 9. Why do you have a 9? The 9s and 10s don't really bother me one way or another. It's something like, especially this is a 10. So there's only 10 of this card made. If I'm only going to have 10 of a card made, what's the chance I'm ever going to run across this again? Especially 4 years later. Probably not, right? And then, 9's still pretty good to me. The centering's off is probably where they lost it. You can kind of see it. Front and back are kind of the same. These chrome cards, these flashy cards, you get surface issues, right? But even like stuff like this, once again, it's just easy stuff to go off of, but get an optic downtown of Phillip Rivers. To me, it's an awesome looking card. This is from 2019 Optic, which Optic's my favorite. Also, it's Optic release week this week. Extremely excited. Optic, shout out SD Card Breaks, great guy. But SD said a long time ago, like a year and a half ago to me, maybe it was when last year's Optic came out, whatever it was, and he was like, Prism is who you take home, but Optic is who you marry, because that's how good Optic is. Optic's just the best, right? Optic's the one that you want to wake up to every day. Prism's just like, Prism's okay, but it's not quite Optic. So, but yeah, Phillip Rivers, though, you talked about all of his stuff. It's super cheap. Not cheap, but cheaper. And then you talk about his numbers. Like I said, there's just not a whole lot of parallels, right? So you can kind of get that a lot. People are, why is this guy so cheap? Why is that so cheap? And I understand that for the young guns, because exclusives and stuffs have been in the part of it for a long time for Upper Deck. But when you talk football cards and you're talking tops back in the day with, like, once again, essentially 3 parallels for Phillip Rivers in 2004 compared to 140 different parallels now for like a Prism. It's so many more. Kratos, what's up? Young Guns, what Young Guns are you collecting for an investment? Lately it's me, it's Kaprizov. Tomlinson, I don't have any of his. I have one or two of his rookies. I don't have any rookie autos though. Fred, for me, Young Guns, it hurts me in my soul to want to collect Kaprizov, especially for investment. I find Kaprizov's high, and I kind of said it in the channel before. To me, the big thing about Kaprizov is Panarin. Maybe a little bit more talented. You can see it one way or another. But at the end of the day, Kaprizov is Panarin. They're 20. They came in the league at 20 whatever. Being a late entry into the league, they are what they are. They probably will never get a chance to break any of the records, right? Just because they came in 4 or 5 years too late, 6 years too late, to really contend for those all-time records, right? That's the thing about Ovechkin and Crosby and all these guys. Well, they came in when they were 18, 19 years old, right? You add 5 years onto that, there's no way Kaprizov's ever going to catch anybody in points or all-time points for a Russian or all-time goals, or even no matter how great he is, he just won't have that opportunity. For me, for Young Guns, I just sent off on my PSA order that I did with a buddy of mine. I just sent off 2 Mason McTavishes. So if you guys want to see the whole list, I'll pull up the whole list here. It actually, what was that sold? I'm missing out on stuff here. Stammer sold. Just checking apparently some of my auctions that I was watching sold as I started this. Wasn't paying attention. Oh, Getzlav sold. There you go. Getzlav Future Watch Auto sold for $105. Josh Norris, Tim Stützle selling for $400. Kaprizov rookie card should not be worth more than the McKinnon. No, it shouldn't, right? Even like he got his Future Watch Auto, it's going for crazy prices for the Kaprizov. The Kaprizov now, the base Young Gun, I think is lower for his like PSA 10, anything, whether it's raw or anything. So I think it's $600 Canadian, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're PSA 10s or if they're what they are. But I know I have. Did I email that to myself? Give me a second. I'm just gonna try to pull it up here. I saved it the other day, I'm pretty sure. I did the list. Where did I put that? Trying to find through paperwork. I'll just see if I can check my email. See if I emailed that to myself. I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure I emailed myself. This is going to be fun trying to find back through all this. Anyways, as I kind of look, but so yeah, just have all this stuff. Kaprizov to me, I think is high. I like Kaprizov. I like the excitement for him. Obviously, you have all this stuff that's going on currently with him. It makes things a little bit harder. I think it's a good thing for the hobby, Mark. I think that's a good thing for the hobby. I think it got more people into it. I think that's what you want. I think you want more people in the hobby. I think that's good. Yes, it sucks for things like box prices and stuff like that. I think that was kind of going to move that way anyways, but you get more people into it, right? So like now you can sell your stuff, right? Maybe it's not as great because it's costing you more to buy a box, but when you do hit something, it's even better. Why can't I find this right now? It's really bugging me. I swear I emailed that to myself. That's the joys of nope. I thought I found it. That's the joys of working for yourself. I have a million emails in my email, and I know I saved it somewhere the other day. I can't remember where it is. Oh no, I know where it is. Haha. No, I think it's good that people got in. I know I got back into it because of the hobby, because of the everything, right? Whether that's good or bad. There we go. There's my submission. So here's my latest submission. And some of them you guys would have seen if you watched the video. Most of the stuff ended up going in. I didn't do everything that was in that video though. I meant to do another video of what I end up finally sending and kind of doing like a little blurb about each card, because there's some of them that I don't think will get a 10. Mostly it's like the Marvel stuff. I sent off a Trevor Lawrence. I'm just hoping that it comes back a 10. It could come back anywhere from an 8 to a 10. Depends on how much they want to care about the surface. But with all that, Let me see here. I'm pulling this up. This is who I sent out. So this kind of gives you an idea who I like in the hobby. I'm going to exit that. I want to bring this over. And then I'm going to bring this up like this. Sorry, guys. This is all on the fly. Boom. Boom. Bring that up a little bit more so I can see if anybody else talks. So this is what I brought. So I did a faster submission. So this is essentially, you had your value, which is that $18. That's, people love currently for PSA. It's only for this month. But these are stuff that kind of would come back over that value. So one is a Tim Stützle Young Gun. Now it's a card I cracked from HGA. I'll grab, give me a second. I'll grab these here. Yeah, it did change it. Like I said, it's changed it for different reasons, right? People are into it. Some people are just in it for resale, right? You get some of these people and there's no collecting value at all. Some people are just, they're just in it to flip cards, right? Which is fine. I flip a lot of cards. I sell a lot of cards. I literally have all these different cards in front of me, priced out that I had from shows and stuff. And that's part of the reason why we prospect some stuff, right? Now, obviously, I still have PC stuff. But so the Tim Stützle I submitted is this one here. So it was an HGA 9.5. See if I can get that to focus. Probably not. No. No. Anyways. 9.5. The corners were 9.5. The surface was a 9.5. Centering was a 10, and the edges were a 9. I don't remember seeing a whole lot wrong with the edges. I kind of thought that when I got the card back. So I had two Stützles. This is the one that I like the most out of the two. But that's one of the ones I submitted for the economy. So that's $50 American. So it ends up being like $65 Canadian before we add on like shipping and there and back and everything else. What's we got here? Can I zoom this in a little bit? I'm gonna bring that in. So before I get to that, I'll talk about that in a second, Fred. Turning in late. Did you already mention the releases of Extended Series? So Extended Series and Platinum, Extended Series, I haven't talked about that yet. I heard it's coming up soon. Black Diamond, I believe, is coming up at the end of the month, like in 2 weeks, that's pretty exciting. I like Black Diamond. Extended Series, I haven't really heard a whole lot. I heard obviously the Cider canvas is supposed to be in there. That's kind of be the big hunt. Past that, I haven't really seen anything. I haven't talked about a whole lot, Mark. The 27th. Okay, never mind. I thought it was Black Diamond that was releasing on the 27th this month. Am I wrong? And I did a lot of football for my economy submission. That's what I was going to get to. So I did the Tim Stützle. I did a Trevor Lawrence Donruss Purple out of 500. That's one I'm not sure what the grade's going to come back at. It does have like some scratching on the front of it, so wait and see. Justin Fields Pink Camo, a Zach Wilson Prism Orange Laser, Zach Wilson Green, Zach Wilson Red Ice, a Jalen Hurts Honors out of 25 auto. That's a pretty big one if it comes back at 10. And then a Jordan Love Blue Ice. I mentioned in my last video, if Rodgers retires 2 weeks before the season starts, which you never know with Rodgers. I love the guy. I think he's great. You just never know. Then that wouldn't work out too well. Before I get into the value submission, Fred, I had graded a lot with HGA. Anyways, if you followed the channel for a while, I graded a bunch of different stuff. So I graded football, have like a bunch of football cards and wins, some Justin Herbert, some Tuas. So I had a bunch of stuff that I graded with HGA. I thought HGA, I like subgrades, so that's kind of why I like them more than an SGC, a CSG, whoever it was at the time. I like them more. But the problem with that is there's a human element to all this. And the human element of HGA completely and utterly destroyed me. So they just got behind. Their big claim to fame was they almost sounded like a politician. They were promising one thing and then it just never happened. So their thing was, when we say 30 days, it means 30 days. And next, people were waiting 7 to 8 months to get their cards back because they got greedy. And then obviously they ran into issues. They ran into quarantining and lockdowns and all this other stuff. So it didn't make it easy. But now if I was going to go with anybody, even Beckett now, I don't know if I'd go Beckett right now. The big one, and I just picked up my first one in a trade yesterday. If you guys watched the video yesterday, you would have seen it. But SGC. So this is a SGC 10 Jack Eichel. Some people really like them. People like the plainness of it. There's not a whole lot to it. The back, the sides of the black, they're just very, it's kind of like a flatter look, like a semi-gloss kind of look to it. So not a ton of shine. The card shows pretty well through the SGC slab. The back has a little etching for SGC. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to them. The difference between that and HGA, definitely HGA's I thought it was a little bit thicker, but it's actually not. It feels heavier though. Like this HGA feels way heavier than what this does. And I know from a fact of cracking the HGA stuff, it is a tough crack. Like it's some thick plastic, everything else. But I would go, if I was to send anything not to PSA, I would go to SGC personally right now. Now, once again, I have been wrong. I went through HGA instead of SGC, and at the time, pretty much the same price. I just thought everything with HGA. I liked the subgrades. I liked how they were kind of, using AI, they said, to kind of do it. I like that kind of like the techie aspect of it. I like the colors of the labels, kind of being able to color match them to the team, all this stuff, change them up. The custom labels I thought was cool. I just had a lot of faith in them. And then once again, the human element of it all kind of took me for a loop. And then I got thrown down the pooper. So it is what it is. I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy all this stuff. I enjoy picking up cards. I enjoy grading cards. I enjoy, just all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I would go with SGC. If I was to, PSA would still be my top. It's just depends on what it is too, right? And I think I sent, and I'll go through my value list here. What I sent off for value, I would not send off at the $50 mark. I'm doing it because it's a $17 mark. Even at the $30 value, I wouldn't have sent some of these off, just because it's not worth it. If they come back I think pretty much all these are going to get at least a 9, if not a 10. But I think the other way was I was going to get into big trouble. But I have a Jerry Jeudy blue out of 179 from Optic last year. Once again, Russell Wilson over there. That's a big pickup for them. Jordan Love Hollow. I got him once again, $17 to grade it, right? If he comes in, plays well, Rogers gets hurt, Roger says, I want to go on a vacation halfway through the season. Roger retires after the season. Jordan Love gets traded over to Seattle tomorrow. Who knows? And once again, these are cards that I'm only going to get back in December, so it's not stuff that I'm banking on. That was, once again, some of the part of the economy. The Zach Wilson stuff, I think Zach Wilson will be good. But I want all of his stuff back before the start of the season, because the first, I've gone through it before, the first 8 games of this year for him are rough. I got Jordan Love Hollow, Zach Wilson red mosaic. I got a Zach Wilson silver variation, I believe it was. For mosaic, I got a Phillip Rivers Topps Chrome, just a base one that I sent off. Chase Claypool blue auto, that was out of 50. And then I got a bunch of young guns. So I had I had a Dylan Cousins I cracked. This was had 9 5s and then a 10 all the way around. So pretty good subs. Kind of made me want to, I said, no, what, I'm going to crack it. It wasn't worth it in the 9.5 for the 17 bucks. Once again, I'm not really worried about Dylan Cousins prices tanking over the next, in December. I had two Mason McTavishes. They were all pretty good. The centering is pretty good on them. There was no chipping on the top of them, which a lot of them have an issue with. So I think I have a good chance of getting that back as a 10. There was, what's that going on here? I had, what else? Mason McTavish, two Bowen Byrams that I liked, that I had. So I sent those off. Same thing, 17 bucks. Pretty cheap. His prices are actually above the 199 break for the value, but I think by the time December rolls around, he'll be back down to something a little bit more normal. Sorokin, I cracked that. That was one that came back with a hair in it from HGA in the slab. So that came back. It was all 9.5s and then a 10. So it came back as a true 9.5. Centering was a 10 on that. So once again, decided to take the risk for 17 bucks. It ends up being like 23 bucks Canadian before shipping and all that other stuff. Then we had Josh Norris. I sent one of his young guns off that I had set aside from a long time ago for him. And then I had Matthew Barzell, which I had bought that. It was an HGA when I bought it. So once again, 4 9.5s and a 10. So I sent that off too to see if that could get a PSA 10. So we'll kind of see. I pretty much for all the ones I sent, the Sorokin, the Barzell, the Cousins, the Stutzel, all the stuff, you're kind of going to get a real good idea about how these cross, because I only sent one of them. So it's not like my last one I sent that I'm going to get back hopefully by the end of this week. We'll see. End of this week, maybe start of the week after my other PSA submission. I got 2 Kaprizovs, both were HGA slabs. I cracked both of them. Those ones there, I have no idea which one's going to be which. So if they both come back 10s, great. If one comes back a 9, one comes back a 10, we have no idea of which one was which. I sent out a Sebastian Aho Young Guns. I sent off a Patrick Laine Young Guns. I sent off an Austin Matthews O-Pee-Chee Retro rookie card. And then 2 Pierre-Luc Dubois Future Watch Autos. Once again, pretty decently cheap. And then I sent a ton of Marvel. And the Marvel stuff is all 1990 and 1991 Marvel stuff. Everything, there's a handful of them that are bigger cards, bigger players, that they came back. They had, if I use my centering tool, it was 4 and 2 from top to bottom. So there's a couple of them that are off top to bottom centering. Side to side's all pretty good on every one of them. So there's a handful that I think there's a Thanos, and 1 or 2 others in this list. A Doctor Doom, I think. Doctor Doom. And I think that might be it. I think there's only 1 or 2 that the center was off. Maybe Mr. Fantastic, I think, from the past Fantastic Four. I think he may have been off a little bit top to bottom. But most of them are all pretty good. Once again, they're 17 bucks. Most of these are selling raw for that 17, 18 bucks. But if I sold like in a PSA 9, raw, they only sell for $1 to $5. So it's like, it's worth it for me to sell, take the risk on those. Last submission at CSG. I haven't used CSG yet. Toronto Card Expo, and I like them as my card was returned in 2 weeks. So that's a big thing with SGC too, that I've heard from a lot of people and why they like them so much. And CSG, all this stuff, is that they're so quick to get it back, right? Yes, the PSA, and for me, it's just about value, so I don't really care about how long it takes to get back. And especially with like the comic book cards, the value of those cards in a PSA slab is where it's king. Like I can put it in an SGC slab, but it's not going to sell very well. I put it in a PSA 10 slab, it's going to sell super high, right? So it's worth it for me to do it. But every card and every kind of card is different, right? And I know somebody was telling me the other day on one of the videos that they liked Mint, and they kind of said Mint's actually doing very well. Mint's kind of picking up with a lot of this stuff. They like the whole mint aspect of it. And now I've said before, I love Mint for the fact that I've picked up cards in Mint slabs that were below raw comps. So that was good for me. I picked up a Justin Herbert Justin Herbert, Donruss for under raw comps. I think it was a Mint 9.5, 9 or 9.5. I can't remember. I sold it one of the last shows or 2 shows ago. But yeah, so I had that, and then same thing. I got a Ruby Wave of RJ Barrett, and that also went for under comps when I bought it. So everyone's gonna have a different idea, but yeah. You got chicken wing by Truba. Everyone gets chicken wing by Truba. But no, I understand why there is CSG. If they do it right, could be huge when it comes to comic book cards, right? The big thing about them is they have the market. They have the comic book market, right? They went, and I know like there's some big guys like I think Spidey Hits and a bunch of those guys that all join in on all of his weekly talks. They're saying like, yeah, it's a no-brainer for them. They're gonna use CSG once they kind of want to grade certain things. I don't know if they might not be grading Marvel cards yet. I think that's part of their whole thing, but yeah. So it's just there's a lot of this stuff, right? So, but that's who you go to grade your comic books, and there's a lot of them. And I'm a big comic book fan. I have. The girlfriend probably hear me. I have way too many comic books. And they're not like cards where I'm not going to ever sell them. So literally just, I read them and they go into a box and they sit there. And that's where they're going to sit. Because I never have time to go back to read any of the stories that I really liked because I'm trying to catch up on the rest of them. So that's always fun. But comic books are great, but they have a huge market, right? If you know what you're looking for, guys do the same thing for flipping cards. They do it for flipping comics, right? They go around, they find a good comic for a good price. They pick it up, or character they like, or whatever it is, a story they like, whatever the millions of different, ideas of why they picked up that card or that comic, and then they grade it, and then you can make $40 off it. Or, I remember buying a Batman Black Label 3 or 4 years ago, and when I did it, I bought it for whatever it was, like the sale price, like $7.99 or $8.99, and then all of a sudden, boom! It was all of a sudden, I checked, or I seen somebody on one of the pages or whatever, they're selling for like $50. What? Like that was my first holy, I didn't I knew like old comics had like resale value. Right. That's probably 4 or 5 years ago now. I knew the old comics had resale value, right? The Action Comics 1, first appearance of this guy, that guy, whoever. I know those all have big value, but I didn't know the new stuff did. So it was what it was. I still have it. Once again, I have way too many. But you have all that. So I think CSG is going to be a good, if they play the cards right. I think they were very smart too. They changed their label because everybody in the industry was like, I hate your label. So by hating the label, it made every single person want to not use their grading service. So what did they do? They said, hey, look, we're going to switch it out. So I don't know if anybody has seen the new label. I'm assuming you guys have. But I'll pull one up here. CSG 9. We'll do 10. So if you guys haven't seen it, very much kind of like, oh, is that going to turn around? I guess it's kind of, I'm all turned around here. Hard to see on the reflection. I can probably pull up a picture. It's just easier. There you go. kind of see it there. It's kind of the same as the SGC, and I'll put the SGC up here in a second. Again, very basic. You have the logo up the top here. Just have a 10, very basic, what the card is. Once again, just a lot better than the old one. Same thing, very simplistic, very basic, right? Just black. So the new one looks a whole lot better. Once again, I personally liked the HGA stuff. I like the artsy. I like the colors. I never did a custom label, but I just thought that was kind of cool. You would kind of color match your logo, your card to it, right? So with all different kinds of stuff. But once again, I think CSG has a chance as long as they play the cards right. These are all companies ran by people, right? If all of a sudden CSG goes and they get behind by 3 months, it's game over, right? This hobby is it will take a lot of stuff, but the moment that if you're a company that wants to be in the market and you don't follow through with what you say you want to do, they will destroy you. Hence HGA with all their stuff, hence any of this stuff, right? So like I said, they're good with you until you're good. Even PSA, a lot of people walked away. BGS has been a company for ever, right? And with their wait times, with their everything, people have moved away from them. I think a lot of BGS's issues, and it's not even an issue, I think it's just on the consumer, because BGS, a lot of people forget, was like BGS was the king, right? BGS was top of the list, and then PSA. I think a lot of it is just people not understanding that a PSA 10, a Gem Mint PSA 10 is essentially the same as a 9.5. For, once again, it's not 100%, right? But for a BGS or HGA, whoever it is, those companies, when they're marking down to 9.5s, that's where you back at 9.5 is the similar to a PSA 10. Hence why a BGS 10 will always outsell PSA 10. Always. It's just going to happen because they've had it. But even Beckett, they've taken a big hit over the last couple of years for all their stuff, right? So, again, I don't mind. I tell everybody I don't mind different companies. I'll pick them up. Sometimes I like it because I know that the card's at least covered. If it's more of a PC thing, sometimes I'll pick them up. I'm not going to pick up. I seen somebody selling GMA or a KSA or an ACA or something the other day, and they were essentially asking like PSA 10 prices, and it's like, you can't do that. Even when I sold my HGA stuff, I never tried to sell it at PSA 10 prices because I understood that there's a PSA 10 and that holds a certain value, and you at the time you would have paid for that to get the grades back, and once again, an HGA, an SGC, whatever, they hold a different value, 100%. But yeah, no, I do agree that works good. Looks good, Kratos. I think they're just a very nice thing. I don't know how to can I get them on here? Stream settings. Can I do... I was gonna see. I see people put like the I see people put the comments in the chat. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. I was gonna hopefully do that. I thought that'd be cool. Pop out chat. Can I do that? Got it. I'm trying to figure out if I can do this or not. I'll have to figure that out on another stream. Thought about that earlier. I was like, I should probably see if I can do that. I have no idea. My brother's CGS graded card, and he was impressed with the slabs. Yeah, like I've heard they're pretty nice. Like I said, I haven't seen any of them personally, so I'm not super familiar with any of them. Not super familiar with how it goes. But for me, I'm a big fan of it. So, like I said, I'm a fan of all these companies. Once again, just you have to be reasonable with them with the prices, right? Like once again, do not ask PSA 10 prices for a SGC, for a like this is going to go up for sale, because I don't really care about, I shouldn't say that, I do care about Jack Eichel, and I say that because as a guy that also has a raw one right here, also has PSA 10 one right here. But the reason why I picked this one up was it wasn't a trade. So I wanted to sell those cards. This guy said, hey, I'll trade you instead. He was local. So I brought a great big pile of cards to him, said, hey, here's my traders. He looked through them, said, yeah. And I know what he's going to do. He's 100% going to grade the 6 cards that he got from me. He got a Stutzel, a Rantanen, a Byram, a Norris Tribute maybe. 70, 40, 110. Whatever it was, 145. 170. Yeah, that was what it was. Because that ended up being essentially like $170, which that's kind of what I valued this around. It was $170. I think this is worth a little bit more personally. But I said I think that's a good trade. I had about $170 into it. Once again, I know he's going to grade him. I don't care whatever you do with it. CSG, yeah, like I said, I haven't touched the CSG yet, but I haven't been like to any. I wasn't at the expo. I wasn't with any of these places. And for me, at the price of the PSA, once again, it's going to be a long turnaround. But for me, for those cheap stuff, it just doesn't make sense for me to grade with anybody else. Like if I sent this Eichel out, I would send it with PSA. And the reason for that for me is, once again, there's the price difference, right? The price I can get back for a PSA 10 Jack Eichel compared to the price of an SGC 10 Jack Eichel is enough that I would want to wait. Now every card's different. And once again, if you have a cheaper card, if you have a $40 card, $50 card raw, maybe you don't want to wait the bunch of time. Once again, every service level is going to be different. Once again, I graded the couple Zach Wilsons and stuff I have. I graded all those. I'm getting those back before the start of the season because I want to. Because I think that getting those back before the start of the season is kind of the smart move for me. So, mainly just because for me, they're going to be resale, right? And like I have other ones I picked up. I mentioned before, talking about investing. Like I said, I don't mind investing in hockey. Hockey's just so weird. Even when I do like football, I'm not investing in a player other than football players or quarterbacks. That's all I want to do. I don't want to take a chance on Justin Jefferson. I don't want to take a chance on DK Metcalf or Jonathan Taylor or whoever else you want to name. Running backs, you just have to look at Todd Gurley, look at all these other running backs who have had great careers for very short periods of time, right? You look at a CJ2K, Chris Johnson. You even look at Adrian Pierce numbers. Once again, the pop count of what you have for parallels and stuff isn't quite the same. But you have all these guys, like I said, CJ2K, Todd Gurley, once again, all these guys, Melvin Gordon, all you go through the list. The length of their careers aren't as long as what a quarterback usually is, right? So that's kind of one thing you have. Also, 2 seconds. I got to do a bid here because I am trying to win a card that I really, really want. We got 15 seconds here, and then I'll show you guys what it is. 15, 14, 13. I am 100% doing the douchebaggy thing of bidding on it in the last 3 seconds. Boom. Now I'll show you guys what it is. Good price on that. I'll take that all day long. If anybody knows me, you know that I love my Chargers. But also, I'm a big fan of this guy here. Rashawn Slater. So that is the blue shimmer out of 25. Number 20 out of 25. So free shipping. Got it for $17.50 American. Super short print of a. I paid more for his other one the other day. His red shimmer out of 35. I think the red shimmer's out of. Pretty sure I paid more for that one. Pretty sure somebody paid close to the same with shipping for a blue disco out of 25 out of 75. So yeah, it is what it is. That's not an investment. I'm telling you right now, there is no way that the Rashawn Slater card is an investment. The Rashawn Slater card is a 1000% PC. That's all I deal with. I just want to do PC with him. I have no interest of ever selling that card. Once again, just like a lot of my like Justin Herbert's, whatever it is. But once again, it's not bad to have. I'm so excited I got that card. Go to checkout. That's awesome. I can't believe I got that. I was expecting it to go for like $25, $30, especially because of the free shipping. Got that for under $20 American. It's like $25 Canadian. Take that all day long. Checked out, paid the guy. Also, if you're betting on stuff on eBay, pay your people. Do not make them wait. Just putting that out there. Unless you're bidding on other stuff. But if you're just like click buy, I'm waiting right now for somebody to pay for the Fanimation of Mackenzie Blackwood that they sent an offer on, and I accepted it. And I'm just waiting. But these are my two. People ask what I'm investing in. Zach Wilson. This is before the whole, Man I Love Football acronym. You can figure that out. MIL. Anyways, before all that, on the slab, is that the bag? Sorry. Oh, there's this on the back of the card. I don't know if you can see it. Anyways, right here in the green. I was freaking out. I thought it was a crack. It's just plastic. I thought it was like a crack in the slab. I was like, oh my God, I've had it for this long. Is that the reason the guy sold it for so cheap? This guy had this completely labeled wrong. I don't think he even had PSA 10 in the thing. I sent him an offer, got it for like 80 some bucks American, $85 maybe, something like that. Same as this one. One of those things I saw it for super cheap. Just compare it. Once again, use your brain, people. Think when you're bidding on this stuff. Think when you're investing in guys. Find a comparable ceiling, a comparable floor of these players that you're going to invest in, whether it's hockey, football, whatever, right? If I think Jack Eichel is the next big thing, well, why do I think Jack Eichel is a good player, right? Why do I think that card could go up? One of the things that people don't think in hockey is that if you're a late round pick, typically your prices don't stay high. What is Jack Eichel? Second overall pick. Okay. Jack Eichel averages over like a point per game. Okay. Jack Eichel is like the same age, I think, as a Kaprizov. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Jack Eichel was born in 1996. Kirill. Kaprizov. So there's a year difference in age. Jack Eichel is 6 months older. 7 months older than he's 7 months older than Kaprizov. And once again, you people will go crazy over Kaprizov, want to spend all this money on Kaprizov. But at the same time, once again, Kaprizov is the same price as a Jack Eichel. Or Kaprizov is more than a Jack Eichel. Once again, you're talking second overall. You're talking about a guy that could have a really good career. They're the same age. They're the same everything. So you have all this stuff that you kind of go off of what you're going to get into. That's kind of what I get into. But I'm like, okay, what's the floor, right? Kaprizov, to me, his floor is what Panarin is, which I'll pull up a Panarin card, Young Gun. I know I use that. I'm not just doing it because they're Russians. I'm using it because they both came in late and everything else. It's not like Panarin still plays for Columbus or something like that, where it's like, oh, he doesn't play in a good market. Panarin plays in New York. It's hard to get a much better, franchise to play for than unless you get into like the Rangers or the Leafs or the Canadians, whatever. But Artemi, Panarin, Young Guns, I think they're like $40 maybe raw. Maybe that I'm off. $20, $15 American, $20 American. PSA 9's $25. PSA 10's $120, so essentially $150 Canadian. That to me makes more sense, right? $150 for Kaprizov, maybe, but he's a new cool thing. Once again, I understand maybe you can say he's a little better than Panarin. Okay, right? Maybe a little bit. But at the end of the day, pretty comparable players in my mind. Let me hear your guys' opinion. I think that's where I kind of lay on that. Again, that's where I lay on McKinnon being a first overall pick. Once again, you get into like second, third round picks. There's no reason why Braden Point after his second Stanley Cup should have been higher, I thought. But then this year his prices didn't really go up. Why? I don't know. I love him. I'm saying this because I think the kid is so good. But I have Justin Herbert's. Lots of Justin Herbert's. There's a blue hyper. I have optic. I actually have one of these coming back from PSA. There we go. Blue hyper. I got this for such a steal. This is a purple. This is out of 50. It's 11. This is one off jersey number. It's 11 out of 50. And I got it for a good deal because it was an HGA slab. They also said the centering's an 8.5. It's a little bit, I wouldn't call it an 8.5 centering. I don't know. You guys let me know if you think that's an 8.5 centering. Yes, it's heavy in the bottom, but is that enough to make an 8.5? Anyways, I'm going to eventually crack it, resubmit it, even if it's just in the PSA slab, or maybe I do SGC, who knows. But I got that for, I'll tell you right now, I think I got it for like, probably quiet. Somebody upstairs probably wouldn't want to hear this. But I got that for, where is it? I bought so much Josh Rosen, it's not even funny. I got that for $642 American. So quick math on that, which is a ton of money. It's a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's $835 Canadian. So a lot of money, but it's out of 50. So how often are you gonna find an out of 50? How often are you gonna actually see this card? I don't know if it's been sold since. I can check here, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't been sold since. So it's like you get to that lower numbered stuff, somebody's going to pay a little bit more because it's a little bit optic purple out of 50. Got a love 130 point. I don't have the option to look up Center Stage. I don't have it for Android yet. So one sold. The same one sold twice. Anyways, we'll pull it up here. So PSA 9 of that card sold on June 7th. I bought mine on January 17th. Okay, so 6 months different. PSA 9 sold for $1,300 American. I got mine for $642. Hold your applause. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Because of the slab. It's still a 9. You don't think I could crack this and get a 9? Another HGA 9 sold for, that's HGA 9, sold for $1,250 in May. There's raw ones. No, I don't know if that actually went through, but it says like 1,300. One's 1,000, one says 1,300. That's just like on July 16th, so just like yesterday. Yeah. So you just gotta know, once again, sometimes it's worth it for a low numbered card. Don't care about if it's a good deal. Do not care what this says. Let it be ASA, let it be Mint, let it be Backyard Grading Company. Obviously, you want to make sure it's an actual. There's actually some that like are fakes going on eBay, so you got to watch for stuff like that. But overall, like if you know it's a reputable brand, yeah, grab it. Do not care about what the label says. But anyways, my point of this whole thing, and once again, it's optic release week. I'm very excited, so I'm just showing off my optic for Herbert. But we got a pink. You'll see a lot of these are 9s. This, I still don't know. This is a bronze. It's a 9. I don't know how it's a 9. It's again picked up for a good deal. I'd rather just have them in a slab, knowing that there's not something major wrong with them. Even a 9, typically a 9, there's nothing super bad with them, right? If you get them raw, it could be scratched, it could have a bad corner, it could have a bad edge. So I'd rather just get them. This one was pulled for me by SD Card Breaks. It's an orange. He ended up submitting it for me. But that was a 9 too. That one I didn't really. I think it's like a little bit. A little bit on the back. A little bit heavy on the one side. But like usually the back centering is not even that. I don't care about it that much. That might be one that gets cracked and resubmitted again. And then a hollow. And this one, don't know if you can see it still. I had to get this for a really good deal at the time. Because this one here, it's a nice hollow. It's a PSA 10. Ooh, PSA 10. I got that for a really good deal because it has a hair inside the slab. So I don't even know where it is now. It literally, I'm not even lying to you guys, it moved on its own. And it used to be at the top corner. So it used to be up here, right by like the rated rookie. It was kind of like a black hair, and it kind of semi-mooned it on the corner. And I didn't even touch it. I didn't do anything to it. And then all of a sudden one day it was gone. I have no idea where it went. Oh, I see it there. Where is that? Kind of the corner. It's like more into the slab now. So it's like you guys probably can't even see it. Okay, so there's a little hair right here. Anyways, it's kind of just moved itself up into the slab, up in between the two, like how it goes together. Anyways, I got a really good deal on that because of the hair. Once again, the guy had a hard time selling it. Nobody wanted to buy it because it had a hair in it. And I was like, I don't care. Once again, he's the quarterback for my favorite team. I'm not reselling these. Those cards there, unless for some reason I come across a really good deal on a PSA 10 or something. unless I'm replacing it for another exact copy of that, I'm never going to sell that, right? None of those cards will ever get sold. Same as all my Phillip Rivers. But that's kind of what I'm getting into. Sorry. So as diehard Charger fans, I can say this, look you all in the eye right now and say, Justin Herbert has never made the playoffs. I know. Surprising. Nobody wants to hear that. Is he super talented? Yeah. Is he putting up record crazy numbers? Yeah. Obviously, a lot of his numbers compared to Mahomes sat for a year, so you can say, well, if you go off Mahomes' first year he actually started, that's beyond the point. But first 2 years playing, Herbert's done, other than Mahomes when he sat for a year, maybe Rodgers his first 2 years, pretty much first 2 years as a rookie, no quarterback has ever been better, statistically wise, right? You can say whatever you want about Joe Burrow. Once again, hurt his leg, all that other stuff. Brought his team to the Super Bowl. I understand. But Justin Herbert's prices being more than this guy, who, I don't care what you say, man's a top 10 quarterback of all time. Get out of here. If you don't believe that, don't get out of here. You can have the conversation. I will argue this till the cows come home all day long. Him, Big Ben, and Eli got into it with a bunch of people on Twitter the other day. If you haven't yet, also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. But him being his price, he could be an Andrew Luck. God forbid. Hopefully he doesn't. Also, if you haven't yet, listen to the Andrew Luck 6-part series on The Athletic on Spotify and stuff like that. Awesome. But Andrew Luck at 29 years old retired from the game of football after essentially what was his best season ever. He threw for like 4,500 yards and 42 touchdowns and runner-up to MVP to Patrick Mahomes, like all this stuff, and he retires out of nowhere. And Justin Herbert could do that. You know what Andrew Luck cards sell for right now? I can tell you, they're not very high. So, but this is a guy that has a full-fledged career, especially with, same as you do any hockey player, right? Any football player, if you retire early or just something happens, right? People thought Baker was pretty good at one point. People thought, who else are we going to go with here? Baker was good. People thought, I'm trying to think, Sam Darnold was going to be good. How much money was spent into Sam Darnold? How much money was spent on a Kyle Trask? Kyle Trask stuff was selling for probably more than Phillip Rivers stuff just when Tom Brady retired, because they thought this kid's going to get a chance. Carson Wentz. I like Carson Wentz, right? He was a guy that I graded a couple of his cards. Silver, prisms. We know the Carson Wentz story. I think Carson Wentz actually played pretty good last year. Not going to get into that, but made some really dumb things. And I think if he makes the playoffs, it's a whole different story. If he doesn't lose the Jags, which the whole team lost to the Jags, by the way. The whole team played like crap. But I think then he is seen in a different light. But how much money was spent on Carson Wentz? How much money was spent on all these guys? But meanwhile, a top whatever you want to say, top 20, top 30, top whatever quarterback of all time, his stuff undersells all of these guys. So what we got here, I haven't looked at this in a bit. People wanted to know what the price of the hobby. Want who they want in the hobby. That's what drives up prices. Exactly. And if you have a Justin Herbert, he's a popular guy, right? Some guys really are going all in on Jalen Hurts because they think he's going to have a good team. Jalen Hurts does have a good team. They have a good chance of being a pretty good team. But do I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback? Probably not. People knew the hobby and more attracted Kaprizov than say a point. Exactly. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's all hype. It is all hype, 100%. It went down from 300 to 500 depending on grade. Yeah. Austin Matthews. And what did Austin Matthews do? Okay, he didn't. But once again, McKinnon prices are down by a ton right now. It's the same thing. I don't know if maybe it's the whole market correction. Once again, if you're looking at some of these prices in Canadian, if you're talking, if you're adding tax on top of all this stuff, people are figuring that in too, right? So you could dock the $300 on a PSA 10. I think wasn't Matthews like a $2,000 card, PSA 10 or whatever it was, 2,500. I have no idea what Matthews was, but say 2,000. Well, all of a sudden that's a $2,300 card. It's a huge difference, right? Paying $2,300 for that card instead of 2,000. So it's like, okay, well maybe that card only sells for $1,750 now. It's still going to cost the buyer the same amount of money because of the tax, right? So I think in Canadians with a lot of the hockey stuff, we kind of got to bring that into a little bit of our thought process with some of this stuff, right? Maybe that's why maybe the Beckett guide will become the big thing again, right? The Beckett guide will become what the stuff should sell for, right? Maybe that's what happens instead of PSA, because people don't think of that, but like depending on where you're buying it from, the taxes are going to change everything, right? I guess it's whoever gets it. Herbert was sick in Oregon, but the problem with Herbert at Oregon, and it's kind of a lot of quarterbacks issues, and I will talk about this till the day I die. But Herbert had a different offensive coordinator every single year that Herbert was at Oregon. And it's hard. Even for Herbert, he went, obviously had Anthony Lynn and all those guys, Pep Hamilton over with the Chargers in his rookie year. And then they're like, okay, we're getting rid of everybody and we're coming back new with Joe Lombardi and Brandon Staley and all these guys. So that's a new offensive system, right? This is the first year he's going to have same system, everything else. It's a big difference, right? But you have, quarterbacks is a huge thing, right? If you're changing offensive coordinators every single year, Philip Rivers changed how many different head coaches, right? You had Marty Schottenheimer, then you had Norv Turner, you had Mike McCoy. God, love Mike McCoy. You had, who was it? Anthony Lynn, but there's somebody between them. You had like 5 or 6 head coaches. How many offensive coordinators through all that, right? You go through any of these guys and how many people, and it makes a big difference for a quarterback, right? If you're learning a new system every year, learning different personnel, it's a totally different thing, right? The Kratos, I think it's both. eBay's going to lose a lot of people. I know I've went more on I have stacks here, and they're all stuff that I've posted on Facebook groups lately. But stack there, stack here. I don't even have enough hands to do this stack, but this stack here. I have a ton of stuff on Facebook groups right now because I just don't want to deal with eBay. It's too much pain. It's too much of a pain. Plus I'm losing 13%. Once again, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but on $100, I'm only walking away with $75. Or $85, sorry. You're talking about, once again, $200. You're talking, really, you're walking away with $270. It's a lot of money, right? And then now to add the tax thing for Canadians, it's a huge thing, especially auctions. I think auctions are where you're really going to see it. But I know I do it now when I'm looking at it. The card I won, the Rashawn Slater, that's through the States. So I buy a lot of my stuff through the States. Obviously a lot of football and stuff. I like a lot of football, but a lot of football is sold in the States, not so much in Canada, especially the low numbered prints and stuff like that. But I get it all shipped my cards. So if you guys might have seen a video of one of my mail days I had a month or two ago, but I got shipped there. So I ship it to Oregon. I pay a fee for it. I pay them a charge. But I ship stuff over $35 American. I ship that to Oregon because Oregon has no state tax. So I get it for cheaper. So it's worth it for me to ship it there and then have it shipped over to me rather than me pay the price just to get it shipped to Canada. Whether it's getting all this other stuff, shipped to Canada, it's a big price. You're talking $20 plus import fees per card. So I started using Ship My Cards for all that stuff. But I buy other stuff. I don't just buy my own personal stuff. I buy some other stuff. I picked up a Petrolangelo Future Watch Auto. I'll show you guys that too. Future Watch Auto Petrolangelo. I don't know, a week or two ago. It's like $42, I think, American, by the time I factor in like shipping and stuff. Not the craziest thing in the world. It's so much. So the running joke with me now, if anybody is going to follow this whole thing, is I was a big Josh Rosen guy coming out of college. Huge Josh Rosen guy. Thought he was awesome. Thought he was the most pro-ready quarterback. I thought he had a chance to be really good. And I think that he literally was dealt one of the worst hands in like football history. Just to go from a terrible coaching staff and a terrible GM over there at the time. It's still there, I guess, but the coaching staff's all different. But a terrible coaching staff and terrible situation over in Arizona. And then he gets traded because they bring in Cliff Kingsbury, and then they obviously bring Kyler Murray with the first overall pick. But I really think Josh Rosen, his first year stats are pretty much dead even with Josh Allen. Now, do I think he's going to be as good as Josh Allen? No. But the difference is the Bills continue to build around him, where he got shipped out for, and his team sucked. He got shipped out for, Kyler. There's a fly flying around here. And he got shipped out to the Dolphins. And then he had another offensive coordinator. And then they decided they were instantly going to tank for Tua, and they trade Laramie Tunsil. They trade, who was the receiver they traded? Trade a receiver. Can't remember who it was. They traded all these guys. Anyways, but I like Josh Rosen. So I picked up a lot of his like short numbered rookie stuff. He's not even in the league now. Okay. I don't even know if he'll get another shot. Probably not. But like this was a filthy patch. It's 1 out of 5. It's from the National, which I've heard people ask if I'm going to National. No, I'm not going to the National. But 1 out of 5. Look at that sick patch though. Cardinal head. Doesn't get much better than that. The enclosed jersey presented to Josh Rosen on the stage. So this is from that jersey. And the autograph are guaranteed. So that's from that jersey. Pretty good, not going to lie to you. But I have... I thought this maybe would show what I bought. I have like too much stuff with Josh Rosen, and I keep on buying it. But it's super cheap. This is like a draft class. I'll show you guys. And I'll probably end this pretty shortly after. But a draft class that's at a 49 auto on card. Got it for like under $10 shipped American. We got... This one was just over. This is 1025 shipped in the States. This is 31 out of 35. This is Rookie of the Year contenders. He was not a Rookie of the Year contender, by the way, but the auto is actually pretty good on that one too. It's not like super streaky or anything. What else did I get here? I got a whole bunch. I got a flawless dual. This one I paid a little more for. It was 25 out of 25 on card auto. The auto does go off the card a little bit, but. Dual patch, 25 out of 25. Got it for, I don't know, was it $30 shipped to me in the States or whatever? I think that's what it was. Yeah, about $30. The American. This one here, same thing, a little bit more, but this is going to eventually come to me. This is a hat patch. This is National Treasures, 2 out of 3. Josh Rosen, on card auto. All this stuff is just like auctions because like anybody asking big money. NT patch for $8. A Panini one on card auto dual patch $12. Like it's just a running joke with me now that I see a good price Josh Rosen, I have to pick it up. Yeah. So, anyways, it's just funny. Yeah, the Cider Young Guns canvas is going to be super nice. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I hope it's a vertical canvas. It's nothing against, like, it's one of my only things about the Nathan McKinney Young Guns canvas. It's a horizontal one. It just doesn't look, it's just they're hard to display. I don't mind horizontal cards, but I'm more of a fan of the vertical ones. It is what it is. I think Sider's going to be really good. I think he's going to be really, really good. I think it's, Stevie Y just knows what he's doing at the end of the day. He's so smart, and he knows how to build a team. And that's the same thing as everybody else, right? All these guys, they all wonder, how do they do it? Well, they're smart. I've kind of mentioned it multiple times, but it's one of the reasons I don't he replied to me, sorry. It's one of the reasons why I don't want to invest in Trevor Lawrence. His prices are too high to begin with. He's really good, don't get me wrong, but his prices are really high, and I have less than zero faith in Trent Baalke. So I'm not going to. It's the same Justin Fields. Justin Fields, you can say whatever you want. I think he's a talented quarterback. I think he's got a lot of physical traits that you want: fast, big arm, decently accurate. But the Bears are in cap just hell. He has zero chance to get better there this year. Probably won't be till year 3, 4 that he is going to have a chance to really have a good team around him. Those are the years that you want to really build off him, right? Rookie contract for a quarterback is the best thing going because they're making so little money compared to what the actual good players make. But I don't have any faith that the Bears are going to build a decent team around him, right? They trade for N'Keal Harry, great. That worked so well for the Patriots, first round pick. But that's why I like Zach Wilson. Once again, it's the Jets. I understand people are going to say, it's the Jets. How you're so dumb for investing in the Jets. I understand where you're coming from, but I really like what Joe Douglas is doing. Mac Jones, his prices are high. Is it because Mac Jones is the greatest quarterback of all time? No. I think Mac Jones' prices make 0 sense for football because I just don't see Mac Jones ever being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't mean like all time. I just mean like in a season. He's good. He's accurate. But like, is he ever going to go for like 4,800 yards and 42 touchdowns? Like, does he ever have that Andrew Luck MVP season? No. The answer is no, by the way. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure Patriot fans would love to just tell me I'm wrong. But I just don't see it. But does he have a great team around him? Yes. Is he going to win? 100%. Do you want to know why? Because Bill Belichick is really good. It's like Trey Lance. Trey Lance has a really good chance of playing very well. Or winning a lot. I don't even know about playing well. He has a chance to win a lot. But there's no way Trey Lance's prices, I can't see them being even remotely the same as what they are now. I don't see any of those cards selling for nearly the same amount of money in 5 years. Just doesn't. Once again, I don't think he ever has a season like Justin Herbert just had. I just don't. Detroit murdered free agency. I'm actually very happy with like Colorado. The only thing I didn't like was Big Val. I don't know if I like the 8 years at 6 point whatever he's making, 6.5, 6 point whatever it was. It's Big Val. He's a big man. He uses a lot of his locomotion kind of type playing. That's how he wins a lot of these battles. I don't know if that's gonna carry long term for 8 full seasons. So I don't know how I feel about that. But he's a big part of the team. I think him being a big body, not being able to stop him, I think that's good against a guy like Hedman. I think that's a good thing against these big, strong defensemen, no matter who it is. I think that's good against a Sider. I think that's good against a Darnell Nurse or whoever you're going to put on the other defenseman, right? Having him come down and some guy has to try to stop him being such a big force. I think that's a good thing to have. But it is funny because I just don't know if he's worth that much. But the rest of them I like it. Josh Manson, 4.5. Take that. Cogs for like a mill and a half, whatever it was. Take that all day long. Who else did they resign? Somebody else. They already had JT under contract. Cale Makar looks like a better contract every day with what he makes. Who else is making nothing there? Bunch of guys. People are saying, well, McKinnon, is he going to want a ton of money? I can't see it. I think McKinnon's going to just take his... I think he'll be good. I think he'll be good at like 9.5. 10 maybe. I don't know if he hits. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's like, screw it. I got my Stanley Cup now. Now I can actually bump my money up. But I don't... If Cale's making 9, I just don't see Nate wanting... Maybe he wants to be the highest paid player on the team. And maybe Rantanen's up there too, I guess. But maybe he wants it, but I don't know. I just don't... He might just not want that. He might not care to get that much, right? If he takes 13 like a McDavid, the problem is you see what happens, right? $4 million is a Josh Manson, right? You think Josh Manson would look good on Edmonton? You think Edmonton would want Josh Manson right now? I think so, right? That's, Cale Makar not taking 10, which he could. I think I figured out there's like 13 defensemen that make more money than Cale Makar. I'll take that all day long. Kadri. I seen somebody say the other day, they were saying like the longer Kadri sits and doesn't go anywhere makes me feel more and more hopeful that he ends up back in Colorado. I think that has to be a deal that you have to have the McKinnon deal in place also. Because I think you have to know that, hey, look, we're signing Kadri to this much because Nate took this much. Right? I think you need to have, if he goes back to Colorado, I think you need to have both. I think you have to have both figured out and ready to go. If not, then I don't think he goes to Calgary. I think Calgary might try to like stink this year. And hopefully get in the running for that like Bedard pick. I don't think he goes back to the Canadian market because I don't think he wants to deal with the Canadian media again because the Canadian media sucks, I guess. All the stupid questions. Like I always laugh. Like you wonder why nobody wants to get interviewed. And you wonder why these guys are all like testy all the time with like, reporters. It's like, because just ask a decent question. Like that's part of the thing. Like Pitt and Chicklets ask questions all the time. Pat McAfee show asks a question all the time, but they ask it in a decent way, right? Get over your reporter 101 from journalism school and ask a freaking question as if the guy's a human being, not just. And I got one of the things I like about Pat McAfee is he'll ask a question, but he words it. He almost answers the no-brainer part of it. So he's like, oh, what do you think, you should have done out there other than, just give 110%. We've heard that before. And that makes the guy go, oh, okay, so I can't answer, got to give 110%. I got to answer an actual question here. So I don't know where Kadri goes. I just don't know. Like, I don't think Anaheim. I thought maybe Anaheim at one point, which is kind of just out of left field. Beaches, low key, do what he wants. Go play down there with Zegras, McTavish. Go play be that second line center for all these young guys to kind of take up the next thing, right? Let Troy Terry and all these guys play the first line, and he can just take on that good second line player role, or he fits in the first line role. I thought maybe like an Anaheim at one point. I thought, where else was I thinking the other day? I have all these cards in front of me, and I'm like bouncing teams off my head. But I don't know where else. I just don't know where else. I guess everybody would want him, but like where can afford him, right? Like Minnesota would probably want him, but can they do it? Him with Carrill / him with Boldy / him with whoever, especially that like he fits really good into like that. I think he's best at like that second pairing line. I don't think Kadri's like a first line player. I think he can be in spurts, right? If you have to have him in, he obviously did it this year for McKinnon when McKinnon went out. But I think he's best suited in like that second line center role. Playing hard, playing against the other top team, playing good defensively. Vegas can't afford him. Doesn't really fit into what the Kings want. I don't think he wants to go back down to an organization that's kind of in the rebuild. I guess maybe that's why he doesn't go to Anaheim. Seattle can't. You're probably not going to do that with you just sign Shane, you get drafted Shane Wright, you get Matthew Beniers. Thinking I don't know. There's a lot of good teams out there, but it's hard to see where he's going to go. I hope he just like returns. I hope they can kind of somehow make it work. It's so hard. It's one of those things. To be that good, you have to get veterans on cheap contracts, like a Cogs, like a whoever, and then you need your rookie guys to play well, right? Your Bowen Byram, that's another guy you got to figure into that whole situation too. But Bowen Byram, you got Newhook playing big minutes. You got, go through the list of you got to have guys that are on cheap contracts to kind of fill out that roster. I find that's what like Edmonton hasn't really done. Like name me a good rookie that's played really well for Edmonton or Toronto. Obviously you have Michael Bunting, whatever. But you want like go find me a guy that's like playing really well over what you expect in Toronto that's young. You're not really, right? You need those guys to step up once in a while. I have guys, perfect group chat. Georgiev is going to be top 5 goalie in the league. I don't know if he's going to be top 5. Top 5 is a lot to say for Georgiev. I think he's good. I don't think he's top 5. I think he's like I think he's in upper half of the league. I think he's like top 15. Maybe he could be top 10. But his numbers should be better with Colorado. Than a lot of goalies. Like if he went to I kind of say it all the time, but Grubauer taking a little bit more money to go to Seattle instead of re-signing with the Colorado Avalanche made no sense. No sense. You still get paid, but man, you could have got paid $500,000 less. I think is what they offered him. Could have been locked in. Could have won a Stanley Cup or been on their way to win a Stanley Cup. Could have had all of this stuff going for you, and you go to Seattle where you're going to see 43 shots a game and not have great defense. So maybe thought that drinking the Kool-Aid of maybe Seattle was going to turn out like Vegas, which that Vegas bubble, the Pacioretty deal, now that you look at like what they traded for Pacioretty, it is ugly. Nick Suzuki, multiple first, seconds, like all this stuff. It's like, it's a rough. I don't know what's going on over there. And then I seen somebody's like, yeah, you do realize this is George Murphy calling the ropes around here. That's the same guy that traded Philip Forsberg for Martin Erat. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. But it's hard to get some of these guys in. The coaching carousel and the GM carousel in the NHL is one and the same. And I hope we see some change. No problem with guys getting second chances or a guy that's proven to be good over long returns of time, getting that recognition type of thing. But it's like it's just you shake your head because you're like, why is Cassidy getting another shot? Why is Torts getting another shot? Why is there's nobody in the AHL that can come up and coach. Nobody. Like, you're looking at it. You just saw John Cooper and Bednar win the last, coach the last 2 Stanley Cup winning teams. You got St. Louis. That wasn't a coach that was recycled a million times, right? Yes, it brings in, Torts is good for a couple of years, but bring a good I think the best thing with Torts and some of those coaches is they bring a system in and they kind of bring like accountability and all that stuff, but I don't think it's good long term. Yeah, it could be. So I said there's lots of stuff. I've been on here for way too long. I didn't even realize. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I'm gonna sign out here. We'll probably do some more of these. Let me know some topics you guys want to see, and we'll kind of go from there. It's fun. Like I said, I love talking sports. I love talking, whether it's cards, whether it's sports itself. It's why I started this channel. It was for a podcast to shoot the shit about sports and players and great players and players that I think are overrated and, situations, everything else. I love it. I love sports, hockey, football. I'll talk a little basketball. Also, the Drew League looks electric. Looks awesome. Glad that it's getting some love since LeBron's over playing down there this summer. But yeah, you just have like all this stuff. It's just I'll talk all lacrosse. You guys want to talk lacrosse? I'll talk lacrosse till your head falls off. But all this stuff, it's just good. It's good to talk to everybody about all this stuff. It's good to have these conversations, right? Have conversations, and maybe you guys change my mind on stuff, right? Thanks, Broaders. Thanks, Broaders. Appreciate that, man. Hey, appreciate that, Kratos. I have eventually, whenever my Zephyr order gets in, I have 2 more blasters of Series 2. I have a hobby box of Series 2. I have some extended series showing up eventually. I think 2 more blasters of extended series from that thing too. They were like same thing, like $14 still from Zephyr, so I ordered them. They just took forever to ship them out. So, which they have it on their website, but it's a long time to ship it out. I don't think you need that much time. And then I don't really have anything else. I'm gonna wait to see what else is coming out. I'm trying to sell some stuff. If you guys want cards, you message me who you want. I got all kinds. I got football. I got hockey. I posted in some groups and stuff. But if you ever you're like, hey, if you want to just message me on like Instagram, be like, hey, what's up? Looking forward. Do you have a Niels Hoglander? I can go, yep. Hey, look, I got 3 Young Guns, whatever it is. Hey, Eric, do you got any Jalen Hurts? Or Michael Carter, or maybe you're a big Denzel Mims guy, or whoever it is, right? I have a lot of cards that I like to make my sets for Young Guns and stuff. And I obviously like my PC stuff. But once I make my set, like I already have my whole set done for Series 2 last year. So any Hoglander past the original one I bought, I don't need it. So, or the other original one I broke. Hey, appreciate that. Hey, appreciate that, Broders. At first I read your name as Broder Halfley. I'm like, oh god, Broder fan. It's an Avalanche jersey in the background. Probably not gonna like me. Cards aren't cheap these days. Wish I could afford to rip. You can check out some stuff. Like you don't always have to rip hobby boxes. You can also check out like I've done a couple videos of like extended series hobby. Depends where you go. Like Zephyr's got blasters for $13. You can get Young Guns tributes in there. They have Series 2. I think it's free shipping over like $50 or something like that in Canada. But they have Series 2 blasters on for like $22. Pretty cheap. Like I said, don't go to Walmart. Walmart's terrible. Never buy any cards from Walmart unless you absolutely have to. But you can find other spots. But it is expensive to rip. It's SPA this year killed me. 4 boxes. You guys can do the math real quick. It's a lot of money for not a whole lot of return on that one. So, anyway, enjoy. Appreciate that. It's I will open as much as I can. I'm probably gonna do some more of this though. I kind of got into that more. I was hoping to get more into that. There's no card shows around here, just so I'm not like ripping 3 to 4 boxes a week. You guys can do the math. usually doesn't work out well in my favor. And then I got to actually list the stuff to sell it. Like, it's one thing to hit the cards, then you got to sell it. I got that high gloss of like that I pulled. Still haven't sold it. So like, you got to sell the stuff after you hit it, no matter what it is, the cider, Raymond's, whatever it is. Once again, that's why I have an entire, it's here. This is like my show box. I'm going to move all my stuff here. This is my show box. This is like how I set up at the show. These are all Young Guns and top loaders. And then this is kind of some other cards, some like randomly priced cards. This isn't all of them that I have. This is just what I put together for the show. I have another one of these full. Plus I have my eBay box. My eBay box is separate from this. eBay box is all my cards on eBay. That way, if I ever have to go find them, I'm not digging and wondering, once again, if I have 4 Hoglander, I'm not going, which Hoglander did I have up on the thing? Nope. As soon as I put a card up on eBay, immediately goes into the box. So, yeah, way too many cards, but you got to sell them all eventually. So, anyways, hopefully everybody enjoys this. Thank you guys all for watching once again. And for Eric from the bench, talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.